Here come the jobs. A new study showing a third of the nation's employers are planning to hire in the new year. But that's not stopping the president and lawmakers from still pushing a $150 billion jobs bill. Do we need it? Hello, everybody. I'm Cheryl Casoni, and welcome to Cashin' In. Our Cashin' In crew this week: Wayne Rogers, Jonathan Hoenig, Jonas Max Ferris, along with Tracy Burns and John Layfield. Also joining us this week, Rob Stein, Senior Portfolio Manager of the Aster ETF Mutual Fund. Welcome to everybody. John, looks like the job market is going to start to fix itself basically next year. Do we really need this huge jobs bill, Ben?
Absolutely not. Businesses create jobs, not governments. Look at what this administration track record is. They promised us 3.5 million jobs. We have lost 3.5 million, despite spending $2 trillion and proposing more debt this year than this entire country has done in its history. And we're still losing jobs. Look, going forward, the budget state shortfall is why they want this money and why they're going to break the law on TARP, extend the stimulus. They're going to save some jobs. You're not going to create one job by this $150 billion.
Rob, why not just let the free market work and let jobs just come from companies when they're ready to hire?
Yeah, if you want to go back and let the free market work from the beginning. But right now, I think we need to keep the momentum that we have going. The economy did better than anybody thought in 2009. We've stopped losing jobs. And now we need to take that momentum and help support the economies and support the markets. You know, you said about 30% of the companies plan to hire. What about the other 70%? We need to get this momentum going, a stimulus package that does infrastructure hiring, that does the things that it's supposed to do. I think is a great idea, and this is a perfect time for it.
Well, Trace, but our stimulus jobs going to be long-term jobs? I think that's the question here for everybody.
No,
maybe a job for a year, and then what?
Right, no, absolutely not. And sure, there's so much uncertainty in this market right now. You want those other 70% to start hiring? Make some decisions down in D.C. They don't know what the government's doing as far as the taxing of our system goes. Healthcare reform could cost small businesses millions of dollars. They're not going to put new people on their payroll until we get some decisions out of D.C. So job hiring's on hold because of the inconsistencies coming out of Washington.
Jonathan Hoenig, do you agree with that?
Well, the fallacy, Cheryl, of the Obama administration is that government spending creates wealth. But what we know, Rob, listen, I know you still want to keep the momentum going, but look where the momentum has taken us. Just this week, another $3.5 billion down the toilet to GMAC. So, you know, government spending, a governmentally run economy creates these political boondoggles that create no wealth. I think JBL is actually absolutely right. We need profit-seeking businessmen, but from cash to clunkers and all these other programs, all we've done is redistribute.
But Jonathan,
that's the problem. Profit-seeking businesses don't hire people when there's no profits to be made in a recession. Now, this figure out of Career Builder, which is 20% of purchasing hires want to hire workers, sounds impressive compared to last year's figure. But a few years ago, it was
full-time, and then
it was 54% a few years ago. In fact, a 20% figure is an improvement, but it is a level that won't get the unemployment rate down significantly. Until the economy improves, we need a jobs bill. Now, the one being proposed is a lot of garbage, but the idea of temporarily hiring people until the private sector thinks they can make profits by hiring people is required. I eventually expect to see Obama go more into FDR mode and hire people to dig holes.
Temporarily hiring them to do what?
To dig holes.
To do what? To dig ditches?
Look, they're giving them money to stay unemployed.
Infrastructure.
Why are we constantly giving them money?
Because what's dumber, just giving them extended unemployment benefits to do nothing, or paying them to do a job?
So much money already, and we have nothing to show for it.
Because that first stimulus plan wasn't a jobs bill. So it was largely tax cuts and a lot of other garbage.
This next one is not a jobs bill. It's another joke on
maybe
paper.
20% a jobs bill, but that's 20% better than the last one.
You're both bringing up good points. I want to bring this to Wayne because, look, stimulus spending should have. I mean, we've got unemployment at 10% now. All that stimulus money that's already been put into the system hasn't helped out the jobs picture. Why not just let private companies step in and do what the government seems to not be able to do?
Well, I'm not quite sure how you arrive at these numbers anyway. Excuse me. Say you're going to spend another $150 million. Why not spend $500 million? Why not spend billion? Why not spend several billion? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody in Washington can point to say, okay, we're going to spend $150 billion. That will produce X number of jobs. They can't do that. They have no idea. They didn't know when they did it the first time. They don't know it now. So why should they do it? Of course, let the private industry do it. Private people create jobs. That's how jobs happen, not because of the government. Unless we all want to go to work for the government, that's one thing. We could all all just sign up and have them send us a check, you know.
Well, you know what, Rob? One thing I found good about this data is that last year it was only 14% planned to hire full-time. Now it's 20% for 2010. So you're already seeing an uptick for next year.
Right, that's a great point. And at the end of this year, the stock market up, 20+%. That's $2 trillion of additional wealth that we've had. We've stopped the bleeding. We're not laying off people anymore. It's baby steps, and you got to take this momentum.
That
I agree, you need a better
doesn't
bill
lower
than this
the
one,
unemployment rate. As I said, that figure used to be 50%. We're down a lot from what it should be. Because last year it was practically a depression, and it's up from that, doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet in the job picture.
Jonas, you're right. And
but it's going in the right direction.
What we're doing is simply kicking the can. We are putting this off until some future time, and we've got to reckon with this at some point. Last year, over 30% of the stimulus went to budget state shortfalls. That may save some jobs, may save some government programs, but state revenue is down 7%.
Right.
That is what they want this money for, to plug budget state shortfalls, not to create a job. This market is up because of government stimulus. We are kicking the can down the road.
And
sooner or later, we have to reckon with that.
Is a great idea if you stop kicking it when private industry starts to kick it for you. The danger is the government doesn't ever stop kicking it and they never shrink back
Jonas,
down.
This is
That's
economy
the real danger we should worry about.
Inflated on air. When you take that away, it is going to come crashing down because now this is falsified. These are falsified numbers on so many levels.
But the alternative is crashing down right now.
And
that's the alternative.
Wrong. Jonas, every time government spends money, it either takes it from productive people or charges it to productive people in the future. So this government spending you love is not productive. Yes, it's spending money, but it's not productive. There are people out there now trying to start jobs, trying to, as JBL said, hire folks. They can't get credit because we're pissing it away on GMAC.
Well, a good jobs bill actually would extend credit to startup businesses. You're right, and that's why the current plan is a little flawed. But you want to put money in businesses' hands to start up. That's not necessarily a tax cut because startups don't pay taxes anyway. They're not making any money. That's what they should focus on, is getting private industry to hire people
at some
through lower cost of capital, which they don't have right now.
You were talking about the government's bragging about they're going to hire up to 1.2 million workers for the census. They're talking about, hey, we're creating jobs. That's wonderful if you're going to have a census for the next 50 years. At some point, you've got to reckon with the disaster that this administration is perpetrating by this reckless spending.